name is rhianaB, and welcome to the final review of Survivor Heroes vs. Healers vs. Hustlers. So we've got a lot to get to, so let's delve right in to the final episode. So with the aftermath of last tribal council, we had the 4 remaining players, with the exception of Ben, figuring out that they have to vote for Ben next, which I kind of questioned myself personally because they had said this before in the past, and yet there were some little inklings that that may not happen. Now, of course, they did end up voting for Ben, and of course ended up in a hashtag Ben bomb. But I think this time it was the unanimous decision that they had to vote off Ben, which surprised me when they didn't decide to keep a closer eye on Ben, because they know that he will go out searching for any advantage. And I felt like the 4 had a bit of a arrogance and a confidence issue with thinking that there wouldn't be any idols, because this season it's been all about secret advantages, hidden idols, and just people hiding these secrets and how well can they keep them hidden. And Ben has been known to do well at finding idols and being secretive about those said idols. So the fact being that they didn't even think about searching for it or even trying to halt Ben into finding another idol, I was a little shocked by that, which also goes to show you never get too confident in this game, especially with a season like this where there's just so many ups and downs to it. So Ben does spend all night long searching for the idol, and he thinks that there is no more hidden immunity idols until crack of dawn sits on I think it's the boat or the raft, I couldn't tell what, but there is a big giant X that says dig on it. And I don't think I have ever seen someone, I don't even think Russell or Tony even has a hand on what Ben has done. He has literally found almost every single hidden immunity idol just by looking all night and day for it. It's insane. Impressive, but it's insane because it just adds to the notch of how strong and how hard he's playing this game right now. He will do anything to get to the top, and he knows that he's in trouble. So that motivation of, if I don't do this, I go home, it's just insanity the way he's been playing this game recently. We also did have a little moment with Chrissy trying to make up with Ben purely for strategic purposes. Now, she does realize that they did have a relationship since they were both from the original Heroes tribe, that they were friends in the beginning, they were allies in the beginning, and then all of a sudden it just dissolved into bitter, confrontation enemies. But she realizes that this will be a good play for her, because if he wins immunity or someone else wins immunity, she can talk to him and they can work together to make sure that they are in the finals, or at least that she is in the finals. But Ben, obviously not really buying it so much. So we move on to the first immunity challenge, and Chrissy ends up on top yet again with her 3rd straight immunity win, which is quite impressive. And then on the tribal council chopping block, since we already know that Ben has the idol and we know for a fact he will be playing that idol, he decides to target either Devin or Mike. So also Chrissy wins a reward along with immunity, and she takes Devin and Mike along with her, leaving Ryan to look after Ben. But the thing is, again, they had this confidence that there were no idols and that Ben doesn't have another idol. So Mike comes up with a plan to take an old idol that Chrissy had. It was actually the idol that Ryan gave to Chrissy from the very early stages of the game. To take that idol, show it off to Ben, and be like, oh hey, we found the idol. Which, in actuality, is a good plan, and if he didn't already find the idol, it would probably be very convincing. But the fact being that Ben already had the idol, he obviously didn't believe it, but he played it up for Ham. He literally just tried to look so semi-disappointed and all that sort of stuff, when in actuality he's laughing behind the scenes, just going, ha ha ha, fool's on you, because I have the real idol, bitch. But it's actually Devin who realizes that something possibly could be happening here. He senses that Ben's a little too okay with going home, and Devin knows that Ben is not that type of person at all. So of course Devin starts to think, ooh boy, maybe we're doing the wrong thing here with voting straight for Ben. But he can't get anyone else to believe him. And even Devin himself has a little bit, he's like 50-50. He's not sure if his gut is right or if he's just thinking about it too much. But in this game, you have to go with your gut. Your gut instinct is everything in Survivor. So we go to tribal council, and lo and behold, Devin actually fulfills his gut instinct and votes for Mike, when Ben, because he played the idol, and everyone else had voted for Ben, it was against Ben and Devin's vote. So Devin votes for Mike, and then Ben votes for Devin, forcing a tie. So we get to the tie, and again, it's a close vote, but Dr. Mike ends up going home, making him the 7th member of the jury. Moving on to next night, obviously everyone is still very shocked that Ben pulled out another Ben bomb. But also this puts a bit of a spot on Devin because he was able to take that risk. He made a big move. So obviously they're still focused on Ben, but I feel like there's a slight little spark of thought in Ryan and Chrissy's mind because now they know that he can make big moves. But at this point, they're willing to do anything to get rid of Ben. So we get to the immunity challenge, and we actually learned from the last tribal council that there would be a little twist. But I'll get to the twist later because I do not think I've ever seen an immunity challenge that has given me, as a viewer, the most anxiety, because it was literally back and forth. Ryan was in the lead, then Ben was in the lead. Ben almost had it, but then he had an upside down U, and then Chrissy was in the lead. Chrissy almost won. And then Ben's back in the lead, but then everything just tumbles right away from under him. And then finally we have a winner with Chrissy, which means Chrissy is actually tied for most immunity challenge wins in a single season by a woman, which I gotta say, pretty impressive because that's something that is very hard to do. I mean, granted, there are a lot of people in Survivor history who have done the 4 wins or 5 wins, but it's still really impressive to see one person win so many immunities, and I just thought it was so cool that Chrissy did it because I think she is kind of the underdog with her and Ryan, so it was really cool to see her win all these immunities. Now, obviously, because he did not win immunity and there are no more idols, there's nothing else besides the secret advantage that Chrissy now has. So Ben feels very vulnerable, which means he's the #1 person on the chopping block, until we learn the twist. Now, the twist is that whoever won the challenge gets to decide who will sit next to her in the final 3. But the thing is, she gets to choose one person only. That one person will be safe, and the last 2 remaining people will face off in a fire-making competition. Now, granted, we have seen this done in the past. The one that pops into my mind automatically is Cook Islands, when it was a forced tie, and Becky and Sundra had one of the worst fire-making challenges, or just basically it all displays of fire-making in that challenge. It has been done before, but not quite in this way. So I thought it was really interesting, but it kind of gave me the thought of, oh my god, Ben has a shot. Granted, I don't ever recall seeing Ben making that many fires compared to Devin, but the thing is, I don't think I'm gonna talk about production stuff here. I don't think the editing allowed us to really see much of Devin or Ben really making fire. You see a couple of glimpses, but nothing too concrete, so you're kind of left with, who's gonna win this? It could literally be anyone. It could be whoever gets the spark the soonest, who has the best structure, yada yada yada. I mean, it could be anyone. So it is up between Devin and Ben in a really, this whole episode, this whole finale was very anxiety ridden. But in the beginning it seemed very close, but Ben ends up building the fire and he moves on to the final 3, and that makes Devin the 8th and final member of the jury. Now, I have to say this, sadly my DVR did not record the entire jury deliberation or the reveal, so I had to go on YouTube to find out who won, but I can't really tell you much about the jury deliberation. All I can say was that there was some questioning on Ryan's part that he did not play as much of a strong game as he should have, but Ryan was really trying to talk his way to the top here, which he's pretty good at. He's a really good talker. And then, of course, there was Ben being criticized for his social play because he did make quite a few enemies and he had to rely solely on finding idols to winning challenges to even make it to the point where he ends up right now. But after deliberation, the votes were cast and we had a winner.
1 vote left. The winner of Survivor,
That's right, Ben ends up winning Survivor Heroes versus Healers versus Hustlers. I do agree that Ben played a really good game. Not the person I really wanted to win because he did have a couple moments that I wasn't proud of him, but overall he played a really crazy, fantastic game. I think a gameplay that'll definitely go down in Survivor history, so Congratulations to Ben on winning the $1 million and the title of Sole Survivor. Now, really quickly, I want to talk about next season, season 36 of Survivor. It's still crazy to me that this game has been going on for so long and that we're going back in for another season. And this twist that's going on to next season, I'm so excited for. Because the twist is that the newest survivors, who are all going to be new contestants yet again, they're going to be interfaced with past Survivor mistakes. Now, obviously, some of the ones they did reference, of course, they reference Eric in the classic giving up his immunity to Natalie, and he ends up going home, being blindsided by the women. You had James with his 2 hidden immunity idols, which he did not play, and then he ends up going home with both of them in his pocket. You had Jay from Millennials versus Gen X when he played a fake idol. I mean, there's so many mistakes that have happened in this game. And granted, there are a lot that happened in this season. The one that stood out to me was that when Lauren gave Mike half of her hidden immunity idol, and he ends up throwing that half into the fire. But I'm really, really excited to see how these twists are going to affect the game, because these are going to be players who are either going to overcome those mistakes that were made in the past, or they'll end up making the same exact mistakes. We don't know. But I'm super, super excited for Survivor Ghost Island. I cannot wait to start watching and to start reviewing, because I will be back for that season as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed this review series of Survivor. I had a lot of fun. Really crazy season, but it was really a lot of fun. I love doing these reviews for you guys. So I think on that note, I'll end the video here. So if you guys like it, please give it a thumbs up. Leave me comments down below. What do you think about Ben winning Survivor? And what did you think of the finale or the season altogether? Leave me those comments. I would love to read them. And if you want to see my future videos or videos I've already done, go ahead, hit subscribe, and hit the little bell icon so you can be notified when my videos come out. That's all I have for you guys. And until next season, bye! Mwah.